G'day and welcome to another video. In today's lesson we will learn how to make the easy heart. It is a great project for beginners. It doesn't use much yarn, so it is great for a scrap project. The written instructions will be on my website. I will leave the link below in the description box. We will be using Red Heart Super Saver yarn, but you can substitute this for any weight of yarn, so you could use sports weight or double knit also. So let's get started on the lesson. For our supplies, we will need a yarn needle with a large eye, pair of scissors, a crochet hook. I'm using a G or a 4.25. If you're Australian, you can use a 4mm. I'm using worsted weight yarn. This is also equivalent to a 10-ply yarn. If you're using 8-ply, double knit or sports weight, I would suggest a 3.5. I'm not sure what that is in the letter size, but about a 3.5. You want tight tension for this one, so whatever crochet hook can give you tight tension. What we're going to do is we can start with a magic ring, or we can start with chain 4 and join. So I'm going to leave a bit of a tail for sewing in. I might actually leave a long one on that. Leave a bit of a tail because we need to close that hole up in the centre, so a bit of a tail there. Excuse that there, I think it's a mozzie bite, not really sure. Can't let it stop us making a tutorial though. So chain 4, we're going to join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. We're going to chain 3 and into the center of our ring, or into the center of your magic ring, we're going to work 24 double crochet. And I know that's a lot, but it will fit. So going into the center, pulling up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over, going into the middle and working around. I am working over my tail with my chain 4, so it's on the outside, and I'm just trapping it with my stitches. We want to continue on until we have 24 double crochet, and the chain 3 at the beginning, that doesn't count as a stitch. So continue on until you get back to here. After we have our 24 stitches, we're going to skip the chain 3 and we're going to join into the top of the first double crochet. So going through both loops and join with a slip stitch. What we want to do now is double crochet, and we're going to skip 2 stitches. So skipping 1, 2 into the next stitch, we're going to do a double crochet. If you find that's really tight there and it's making it curl towards itself, just skip 1 stitch and go into the next one. It really doesn't matter about our stitch count here, as long as that's laying flat. If, like I said, if it's pulling it in ways, just go back, take that stitch out and go into the previous stitch. So into this one here, we're going to work 9 double crochet. Once we have our 9 stitches, I think that was 9. Yep. We're going to skip 2 stitches. So 1, 2. Into the next one, we're going to do a slip stitch, but we're actually going to work in between the stitches. See that big hole there? we're going to go into here and we're going to work a slip stitch. Make sure this one's quite tight because we want that to be the, you know where the bumpy bit is at the top, we want that bit down in the centre there to be quite noticeable. Then we're going to double crochet and we're going to skip 2 stitches. So 1, 2, skipping 1, 2 into the next one. Again, if that's making that squash in too much, only skip 1 stitch. Like I said before, the stitch count doesn't matter too much on this project. And also in the first round, it doesn't matter too much. If you need to use less stitches, I would only use about 4 less stitches because you do need quite a bit there to make this work. I tried it with 18 stitches and it didn't work, so it didn't look right. It didn't look like a love heart. So again, we're going to work 9 stitches all into that same stitch. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Again, skip 2 stitches and work a slip stitch. If you find that that's not enough or it's too much, again you can adjust it. So working a slip stitch, and that's our love heart. But just because, see how it kind of goes in a little bit there, so you may have to just pull that out. And again, there, we're going to work around a slip stitch, and that neatens it off and makes it look a lot more like a love heart. So putting it, I mean it already looks like a love heart, but it'll give it a nice clean edge. So working a slip stitch, we're going to work into every stitch around, going through both loops. Don't make them too tight, otherwise it will make the corners curl up. So I'm not putting any pressure on that, I'm just working it through, no pressure on this yarn. As you can see, just loosely working. Don't work too loose, but then don't pull really tight. If you find they're too tight, use a bigger crochet hook. When you get to the point, so now it's upside down, this is the top of the love heart, it's upside down. When you get to the point here, do a chain 1. This is optional of course, and then slip stitch into the next stitch. And I'll show you what that does in just a tick. It gives a point. Like I said, it's completely optional. It gives a point to the bottom of the love heart. I've done a blue one here. See how it's got a point there? Otherwise it would just be rounded at the bottom. And that colour there is blue in the Super Saver. And this is hot red. I really love the hot red. Nice and bright. And we're going to work our way around until we get to the top of the love heart. So that's the bumps on the top. When we get to this little dip here, what we're going to do is work a slip stitch into there. Not into the stitch that's here, but into the space below. You've got to put the stitches apart. So we're going to slip stitch into there. What that does is makes it have that little, what do you call it? I don't know, the dip that's here. If you slip stitch all the way around, it kind of gets rid of that dip and makes it less heart shaped. So again, working around with your slip stitches. I'll just keep the camera going because I've only got to go to here. And again, around this top bit, don't work it too tight, otherwise it will make it curl up. So depending on what you're using this for, if you're going to stitch it onto something, we're going to leave a long tail. If you're not, you can sew in your ends. I think that's, yep. So we're going to slip stitch actually into that first slip stitch. I've gone into the first slip stitch and then worked a slip stitch, and that'll make it continuous. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this, so I'm actually just going to leave a long tail just in case I find something to sew it to. Pull out the yarn, and I'm just going to sew it to the back. Just so that it cleans off that edge there. So as you saw, it was only one stitch to the back there. Now it's time to do this. Pull tight. Close up that hole. And then what I like to do is on that first stitch, make a knot. So pull through, going through the loop before you close it off, and then pull tight, and then sew in your end, and that will stop the centre hole there unravelling. So we're just hiding that tail in there. Get in there. Being very stubborn. There we go. We can snip that off. I don't snip it right down, I just snip it with a little tiny tail, and then I just do that. And there we have our love heart. How quick and easy was it? And it's so cute. No idea what I'm going to attach it to, but I'd look cute on a headband for Valentine's Day. It look adorable on a hat or on a bag, anything really. So you can make them in lots of different colours. Oh, this one I used the G crochet hook, or a 4.25 for the tutorial, and this one I used a 4mm. Yes, I did. I was just thinking. I used a 4mm, so it's slightly smaller than the 4.25, but I don't think Americans can get a 4mm, so it's 4.00 instead of 0.25, so it's a little bit smaller, but look at the size, it just makes it that little tiny bit smaller. So changing your crochet hook will depend on how big your heart comes out, and if you want to make it really big, use 2 strands of yarn and see what you can come up with that. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that video. Please subscribe, as there will be plenty more videos to come. Share your creations on our Facebook page, because we love to know what you've been up to and the colours that you've been using. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy crochet!